Right? So in this day and age, it's extremely important not only to connect with your workforce, but connect very quickly. And one of the ways to connect very quickly is to build trust with the leadership. And that can only happen when people start seeing their leaders as human, not as some Superman or some Superwoman.
You know, never underestimate the power of looking good. But I think more than anything else today, there is a real need that is being felt for authentic human connection. Because authentic human connection is what is helping us tide over things when we're not sure of quite how to tide over them, right? And that's why this conversation on vulnerability is more crucial today and more relevant at a leadership level than ever before.
And I think how it will change the workforce in the future is essentially, I think if we create a psychologically safe environment for our teams, it will, create more innovation because people will be more free to share their opinions, their ideas. I think we'll become a more resilient and adaptable, workforce, right, and organization.
If you're authentic in your vulnerability, and it's not at all easy because it really opens you up and it's scary. It could be something which, when you for the first time decide to be vulnerable and open, you're opening yourself up to so much, from insecurity to, to maybe feeling guilt, shame. It can be a multitude of things, for things that you now look back and say, I didn't do that right. I didn't get it right. I was wrong. I didn't behave right. Yeah. And being able to acknowledge that your behavior, because we all believe we are great, we're good people. Yeah. I want to believe I'm a good person, and I want that my children should be good people more than anything else. Yeah. So it makes you even more open and raw when you are sharing. Yeah. But what it does when you do it authentically is people relate, people connect, and you win hearts, and I think that's such a great way to actually be able to lead.
Yeah. So picking on that, the professor in me always jumps out. And so I'll talk about this research by Professor Barbara Fredrickson, if you haven't heard of her. She is an evolutionary psychologist. A lot of you would be hearing this term for the first time. You probably would have heard of clinical psychologists, social psychologists, but there are evolutionary psychologists as well who say that it's not just the human body that has evolved over the millions of years, it's also the mind that has evolved over the millions of years. We've become much more intelligent. And she says, she's given a theory called as the broaden and build theory, and she says that our mind can only evolve if we are in a safe environment. And no rocket science. For example, if you are stranded in a jungle and there's a lion in front of you, you cannot solve a math puzzle at that time or compose a poem at that time. Your sympathetic nervous system would be activated, and the only thing that you can think about in that moment would be how to escape that lion, how to escape that danger, right? It's only when you're in a safe space you will be able to compose poetry, or you would be able to perform better in a corporate organization. And that's where it brings me to the point that when you are in a state of threat in your workplace, and people out there are not authentic, then productivity and creativity shuts down. And we can only progress and perform better if we're feeling psychologically safe, and we can only feel psychologically safe if we have vulnerable leaders who enable us and make it okay for us to be the way we are.
Right? But strength does not mean perfection. Strength means the ability to acknowledge that this is a situation that is challenging me, I need help, and then going after it and getting it, right?
When people talk about challenging situations, they think of the leaders of having a linear career path, right? Everything is hunky-dory for them, but it's not. Everyone's fighting their own battle. And when you make it real for them, I really appreciated the word that you spoke about, which is personal resilience, right? You are sharing these examples to show them how some of the personal resilience that you have demonstrated has helped you, so that you can share some of those best practices, and hopefully others can learn and benefit from it as well.
So I think I touched upon it in my previous answer, right? Like where I said that if leaders are vulnerable, I think it creates an environment which is safe, which encourages people to open up, share ideas, be more innovative and creative. So I think that's what vulnerable leadership really does.
And one thing I really want to talk about is, we're talking about a lot of surveys of employees. One of the questions which is, usually in these surveys is, do you believe that something will be done as a result of this survey? Very mixed reactions come out of those.
Yeah, I've heard that.
You never get top scores on that question. And I think that is such an important thing. And so for me, when we look at the future, I think vulnerability is about redefining, because we talk about leadership and followership. So if you want people to follow you, you need to create connections in a very different way in the world that we are in today and the world that we are going to be leading in tomorrow. So when you build those connects, you will find people more willing to follow and more willing to walk the path with you when you show them the vision of the organization.